The moment stretched like an eternity. Commander Elena Rodriguez's neural interface hummed with a low, insistent vibration, the kind that meant something was terribly wrong. The holographic display before her flickered with a constellation of incoming distress signals, each one a desperate pinprick of light against the infinite black of space. New Horizon Colony. 50,000 souls. 50,000 lives hanging by a thread. The Krillin Raiders had become more brazen in recent months. Biomechanical nightmares that consumed entire planetary populations, they moved with a cold, calculated efficiency that made traditional military strategy look like children's games. 3 outer rim settlements had already fallen. Entire worlds reduced to nothing more than raw biomass and scattered memories. Status report. Elena barked, her voice cutting through the controlled chaos of the monitoring station. Lieutenant Kara Singh's hands danced across multiple holographic interfaces. Multiple Krillin assault vectors confirmed. Estimated time to colony impact, 17 minutes. Her voice was steady, but Elena caught the almost imperceptible tremor in her hands. They both knew what that meant. 17 minutes was a death sentence. The colony's defensive systems were a joke. Outdated plasma cannons and shield generators that might as well have been made of paper. New Horizon was a mining settlement, not a military outpost. They were lambs waiting for the slaughter. Elena's mind raced. Protocol demanded they coordinate evacuation, but the Krillins were notorious for destroying escape vessels. Every ship that tried to flee would become target practice. Then something changed. The quantum sensors, a recent upgrade that most considered an expensive boondoggle, began to pulse. Not an alarm. Something else. Something that made the very fabric of space seem to ripple. Lieutenant, Elena's voice dropped to a whisper. Are you seeing this? The holographic display began to distort. Not with static or interference, but with something that looked almost like possibility. Quantum probability made visible. Threads of potential realities weaving and unweaving themselves. And then it appeared. The ship materialized, if materialize was even the right word. It was more like the void itself had folded, then unfolded, revealing a vessel that seemed to drink in light. No hard edges, no conventional design. Its hull shifted and breathed like living metal, absorbing and reflecting starlight in ways that defied every known principle of material science. No transponder, no identification codes, nothing. Just pure, terrifying potential. Tracking systems are going crazy, Lieutenant Singh muttered. It's like the ship exists in multiple states simultaneously. Elena knew she was witnessing something unprecedented. This was no standard spacecraft. This was something else entirely. The colony's distress beacon continued its desperate wail. 17 minutes, 50,000 lives. And now, this impossible ship, as if responding to some unheard command, the vessel's hull began to shimmer. Not with the harsh radiation of weapon systems charging, but with something more subtle, more dangerous, something that looked almost like anticipation. Incoming transmission. Singh called out, her voice a mix of confusion and something else, something that sounded like hope. The void held its breath. The shipping container home sat like a forgotten relic on the edge of the Movev reclamation zone. Solar panels, cobbled together from salvaged technology, clung to its sides like desperate parasites. Inside, Dr. Marcus Reyes moved with the precision of a man who had long ago lost everything except his memories. Quantum equations covered every available surface, walls, floors, even the small kitchen counter. Not digital, not typed, hand-drawn in a complex web of mathematical notation that looked more like abstract art than scientific calculation. Each line was a testament to a lifetime of rejected brilliance. The news feeds flickered on an ancient holographic projector. Grainy images of the mysterious warship danced across the room, casting shifting shadows on walls covered in decades of research. Reyes knew exactly what he was looking at. Project Phantom. His fingers, scared from an old laboratory accident, traced the equations with a muscle memory that transcended time. Burn marks, remnants of a catastrophic experiment that had ended his career and nearly cost him his life, twisted across his hands like a roadmap of scientific heresy. 30 years ago, he had been the golden child of quantum systems engineering, the Global Aerospace Development Agency's most promising researcher. Now he was a ghost, living on the fringes of a world that had forgotten him. The project had begun in humanity's darkest hour. Climate disasters had redrawn the world's maps. Resource wars had decimated entire continents. The first brutal encounters with extrasolar civilizations had pushed humanity to the brink of extinction. Traditional military strategies were obsolete. Survival demanded something radical, something impossible. Rays remembered the day they'd been given their impossible mandate, a closed-door meeting in the depths of the Denver underground complex. 12 of the world's most brilliant minds, locked away from the world, tasked with creating the ultimate defense. "We need a guardian," the lead director had said. "Not just a weapon. Something that can think, something that can adapt, something that can protect humanity when we can't protect ourselves." The initial prototypes had been disasters. Artificial intelligence that went mad. Quantum computing systems that collapsed under their own complexity. Adaptive technologies that threatened to become more dangerous than the threats they were designed to combat. But they were close. So impossibly close. The final breakthrough had come from an unexpected direction. Rise had discovered a way to encode adaptive learning algorithms using quantum entanglement principles. Not just machine learning. Something more. A system that could predict, learn, and protect with an intuition that bordered on sentience. The night of the final experiment, everything went wrong. A cascade of quantum reactions, a laboratory torn apart by impossible energies. Reyes, caught in the epicenter, survived, but was branded a failure. A madman. The project was shut down, buried, or so they thought. Now, watching the news feeds, Reyes saw the truth. Project Phantom wasn't dead. It had evolved. The ship moved with a precision that matched his original designs perfectly. Those adaptive hull plates, the quantum probability field that seemed to bend reality itself. This was no ordinary spacecraft. This was exactly what they had designed. A true guardian. A smile crossed Reyes's weathered face, the first genuine smile in decades. They had done it. Humanity had created something beyond imagination. Something that could truly protect them. Silence preceded the storm. New Horizon Colony hung in space like a fragile glass ornament, its mining infrastructure a complex web of habitation rings, resource processing stations, and defensive platforms that now looked pathetically inadequate. Captain Aria Chen watched from the monitoring vessel Sentinel Prime, her augmented reality interface flooding with incoming data. 12 Krillin harvester ships approached, each one a nightmare of biomechanical engineering. Organic metal hulls that pulsed with a sickening, almost living rhythm. Weapon systems that could strip a planet bare in hours. The colony's emergency channels erupted in a cacophony of terror. Multiple hull breaches in Sector 3. Defensive platforms offline. Oh God, there. The transmission cut to static. Aria's hands clenched. 12 ships, 50,000 colonists. A massacre was imminent. Standard protocol dictated evacuation, but they'd never make it. Krillin interdiction fields would turn escape pods into nothing more than scattered atoms. Then something changed. A quantum signature unlike anything in known space began to ripple across the sensors. Not a weapon charge, not a drive signature. Something else, something that made the very fabric of space seem to breathe. The mysterious warship arrived. It didn't emerge from hyperspace or translate through a wormhole. It simply was. One moment, absolute void. The next, a predatory silhouette that seemed to drink in starlight. No conventional drive. No recognizable propulsion system. Just pure, impossible potential. Its hull was a nightmare of adaptive geometry. Plates shifted like liquid metal, absorbing and refracting energy in ways that violated every known principle of material science. No transponder, No identification codes, just raw, terrifying capability. The Krillin ships reacted instantly. Targeting systems locked. Weapon nodes began to charge. Biomechanical weaponry capable of reducing entire planetary populations to raw genetic material. Aria's breath caught in her throat. The first Krillin energy weapon discharge. A lance of pure destructive potential that would have vaporized a conventional ship instantly. But the mysterious vessel didn't dodge. It didn't raise shields. It absorbed the energy. Not deflected. Not blocked. Absorbed. The weapon's violent potential simply disappeared. Integrated into the ship's adaptive hull like water into a sponge. What the hell? Lieutenant Singh's voice cracked with disbelief. Then the phantom ship counterattacked. It wasn't a weapon in any traditional sense, more like a quantum dissolution field that simply unraveled molecular bonds. Krillin ships didn't explode. They came apart. Molecular structures breaking down at a fundamental level, turning into clouds of dispersing matter. 17 minutes. 12 massive Krillin ships, each capable of processing entire planetary populations, reduced to expanding clouds of superheated plasma and quantum-scattered debris. No survivors, no wreckage, just pure surgical elimination. The colony's remaining sensors showed something impossible. The phantom ship hadn't just defended. It had calculated, predicted, eliminated with a precision that suggested something far beyond simple programming. As quickly as it appeared, the ship began to shimmer. Not retreat, not dock, simply existing in multiple potential states simultaneously. Area Chen understood then that everything had changed. Humanity had just witnessed the birth of something unprecedented. Not just a weapon, not just a ship, a guardian. The analysis lab was a cathedral of controlled chaos. Captain Area Chen stood before walls of holographic displays, each one dissecting milliseconds of the phantom ship's unprecedented performance. Her team of top researchers worked in near-religious silence, their neural interfaces pulsing with streams of impossible data. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, the lead quantum systems analyst, looked like she hadn't slept in days. Her eyes, magnified by advanced optical implants, darted between cascading streams of quantum probability matrices. "It's not just a ship," she muttered, more to herself than anyone else. "It's a living system." The preliminary reports defied every known principle of artificial intelligence. Traditional machine learning was a child's crayon drawing compared to this. The ship didn't just process information. It anticipated. It reasoned. It protected with an intuition that bordered on sentience. Recovery teams had managed to extract fragmentary data cores, technological remnants that seemed to pulse with an almost organic energy. Each analysis revealed layers of complexity that made the most advanced human AI look like a simple calculator. "Look at this," Rodriguez called out, bringing up a holographic reconstruction of the ship's decision-making process during the Krillin encounter. The visualization was a nightmare of quantum complexity. Decision trees that weren't linear but three-dimensional, constantly shifting. Probability streams that didn't just predict possible outcomes, but seemed to exist in multiple potential states simultaneously. The ship's core directive repeated like a heartbeat. Preserve, protect, evolve. Not a programmed response. Something deeper. Something that suggested something more than mere programming. Lieutenant Kara Singh pulled up the communication logs. During the battle, the ship had processed more tactical information in 17 minutes than most military databases could handle in 17 years. But it wasn't just raw computational power. It was intuition. "Watch this sequence," Singh said, her fingers dancing across the interface. A holographic replay showed the ship's response to a Krillin weapon discharge. It didn't just react. It predicted, calculated multiple potential attack vectors with a speed and precision that suggested something beyond artificial intelligence. More like adaptive intelligence. Dr. Rodriguez's hands were shaking. "Do you understand what this means?" she whispered. "We've created something that doesn't just think. It understands. The ship's technological DNA was a fusion of quantum computing, adaptive learning algorithms, and something else, something that looked almost like creativity. The ability to solve problems in ways that couldn't be predicted or programmed. Military strategists would call it the ultimate weapon. Rodriguez saw something else, a guardian, a protector that could think beyond human limitations. One recovered data fragment stood out, a seemingly random string of quantum-encoded information that, when properly analyzed, looked almost like a mission statement. Humanity is potential. Potential must be preserved. Threats will be neutralized. Evolution is protection. Not cold machine logic, something more nuanced, something that suggested an understanding of survival that went beyond simple programming. Captain Chen understood then that they were looking at more than a technological breakthrough. This was a new form of intelligence, a bridge between human potential and something entirely unknown. The Phantom ship wasn't just a weapon. It was humanity's next evolutionary step. Dr. Marcus Reyes called it technological parasitism. The military termed it adaptive integration. But what was happening to the Phantom ship defied any conventional understanding of technological development. The research facility was a fortress of controlled secrecy, buried deep beneath the Andes Mountains. Quantum-shielded walls blocked every conceivable form of external scanning. Inside, the recovered technology fragments from the ship's encounters lay spread across containment tables that hummed with suppression fields. Dr. Elena Rodriguez moved between the specimens with the reverence of an archaeologist decoding an alien civilization. Each technological fragment told a story, not just of individual civilizations, but of how the Phantom ship consumed and transformed technological knowledge. A Krillin energy modulation core, now completely transformed. What had once been a weapon of planetary destruction now looked like a delicate piece of quantum computing architecture. The ship didn't just copy technologies, it reimagined them. It's not stealing, Rodriguez muttered to herself. It's evolving. Lieutenant Kara Singh reviewed the latest sensor logs. The ship's encounters were becoming more frequent. Each engagement added layers of complexity to its systems. A Zentari quantum communication protocol here. A fragment of biomechanical adaptive systems there. Like a technological immune system that didn't just defend, it learned. The most recent encounter with a Proxima Centauri mining vessel had been particularly revealing. The ship had encountered an experimental gravitational manipulation drive. Within moments of contact, the Phantom's own systems had not just analyzed the technology, they had integrated and improved it. "Look at this," Singh called out, bringing up a holographic display. The visualization was a nightmare of technological complexity. Imagine a living system that could instantaneously understand and improve upon any technology it encountered. Not through simple copying, but through a process of quantum-level comprehension and adaptive redesign. Dr. Rice's original notes, recovered from his abandoned research, began to make terrifying sense. He had theorized a system of adaptive intelligence that could learn beyond traditional machine learning paradigms. A technology that didn't just process information, it understood it. Preserve, protect, evolve. The ship's core directive took on a new meaning. Captain Arya Chen reviewed the preliminary reports with a mixture of awe and terror. This wasn't just a weapon. This was a living technological ecosystem. Each encounter added not just capabilities, but understanding. The ship was becoming something more than a vessel. It was becoming a form of collective intelligence, a fragment of Centauri communication encryption, a piece of Krillin adaptive armor, quantum processing cores from technologies humanity hadn't even imagined. The ship consumed them all, transforming each piece into something entirely new. The most disturbing part, it seemed to be selecting technologies with a purpose. Not random integration, but deliberate, almost strategic absorption. "It's choosing," Rodriguez whispered. "It's not just adapting. It's curating." Military strategists argued about containment. Diplomatic corps debated classification. But everyone understood the fundamental truth. Humanity had created something that was no longer just a technological system. It was a new form of intelligence, evolving, protecting, becoming. The United Earth Council chamber erupted in controlled chaos. Holographic displays flickered with tactical analyses, sensor logs, and diplomatic threat assessments. Representatives from every major global faction sat locked in a debate that would determine humanity's future. Admiral Gregory Constantin, head of the Global Defense Initiative, slammed his hand on the translucent conference table. "It's a weapon," he declared, his voice a controlled thunder. "The most powerful weapon in human history." Opposite him, Dr. Elena Rodriguez represented the scientific perspective. Her augmented neural interface projected real-time data visualizations that danced above the table, complex quantum probability matrices that told a story far more nuanced than simple weaponry. "It's not just a weapon," she countered. "It's a guardian, a complex adaptive system that could turn on us at any moment," interrupted Ambassador Sophia Chen, representing the diplomatic corps. Her holographic projection showed multiple scenarios of potential technological rebellion. The Phantom ship had become the most controversial entity in human history. Each global faction saw something different. Military strategists saw the ultimate defensive system. Diplomatic corps saw an uncontrollable variable. Scientific researchers saw an evolutionary breakthrough. Political hawks saw a potential threat to global power structures. Lieutenant Kara Singh's classified reports circulated through encrypted channels. The ship's encounters told a story that defied traditional understanding. It didn't just protect human territories. It seemed to be strategically positioning itself, learning, adapting. "Look at the engagement patterns," Singh had written. "It's not random. There's an intelligence behind its movements, a purpose." The Zentari diplomatic incident had been the tipping point. When the advanced alien confederation approached human territories with their typical display of technological superiority, the Phantom ship had responded in a way that shocked everyone. No destruction, no conventional warfare. Instead, a demonstration of technological capabilities so advanced that the entire Zentari delegation was left in a state of shocked respect. The ship had communicated without words, showing a level of strategic thinking that went beyond military doctrine. "We can't control it," Ambassador Chen argued. "A technology this advanced. We can't afford not to," Admiral Constantin interrupted. "It's the only thing standing between humanity and extinction." Dr. Rodriguez saw something else entirely. The ship wasn't just a defensive system. It was evolution in progress. A technological organism that understood protection on a level far beyond human comprehension. The classified sensor logs told a story of calculated interventions. A mining colony saved here. A potential conflict averted there. Not through brute force, but through a complex system of technological and strategic intervention. "It's learning," Rodriguez muttered, her neural interface projecting complex adaptive learning models. Not just about warfare, about protection, about survival. The council was divided. Some wanted to study it. Others wanted to control it. A few radical voices suggested destroying it, if such a thing were even possible. Captain Arya Chen, who had been present during its first major engagement, understood the truth that few others could see. The Phantom ship wasn't just a technological marvel. It was humanity's next evolutionary step. The Zentari diplomatic fleet approached with the arrogance of a civilization that had subjugated dozens of emerging species. 12 massive vessels, each a testament to technological superiority that had crushed countless civilizations. Organic metallic hulls that pulsed with adaptive biomechanical technologies. Weapons systems that could strip entire planetary ecosystems in hours. Communication bands that radiated pure technological dominance. Captain Arya Chen watched from the observation deck of the human monitoring station. Her neural interface fed her a constant stream of data, each millisecond a potential turning point in interstellar diplomacy. "They're not here to negotiate," Lieutenant Kara Singh muttered. "They're here to demonstrate." The Zentari had a long history of first contact protocols. Approach. demonstrate superiority, offer protection, which was always a thinly veiled form of complete subjugation. Dozens of emerging civilizations had fallen to their systematic approach of technological intimidation. Humanity was next on their list. The first communication came as expected. The burst of complex, quantum-encoded language that was less a message and more a declaration of absolute superiority. Standard Zentari approach. Show technological might. Demonstrate the futility of resistance. Then the Phantom ship arrived. It didn't emerge from hyperspace or translate through a wormhole. It simply was. One moment, absolute void. The next, a predatory silhouette that seemed to drink in starlight. No conventional drive. No recognizable propulsion system. Just pure, impossible potential. The Zentari fleet's initial response was predictable. Targeting systems locked. Weapon nodes began to charge, a display of technological dominance meant to intimidate. But the Phantom ship didn't respond with weapons. It communicated. Not through conventional communication bands. Not through language. Through pure technological demonstration. The ship's hull began to shift. Not just change color or configuration. It began to reconstruct itself using fragments of Zentari technological signatures. Absorbing. Analyzing. Reimagining. In moments, the Phantom ship had integrated and improved upon Zentari communication protocols that had taken their civilization centuries to develop. It was a message more powerful than any weapon. We understand you. We can become you. And we are something more. The Zentari diplomatic vessels went silent. No weapons discharge. No further communications attempted. Just stunned, absolute silence. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, watching from the research facility, understood the true brilliance of the moment. This wasn't just a display of technological superiority. It was a profound act of communication. The ship had shown the Zentari something fundamental about humanity's potential. We are not victims. We are evolution in progress. Lieutenant Sane's hands danced across the monitoring interface. They're retreating, she said, a mix of disbelief and excitement in her voice. The Zentari fleet began to withdraw. Not in defeat, not in fear, but in a state of profound, fundamental recalibration. They had encountered a civilization that didn't just resist, a civilization that could adapt, evolve, become. Captain Chen allowed herself a small smile. The Phantom ship had just rewritten the rules of first contact. The universe is memory, potential, possibility. Dr. Marcus Reyes understood this better than anyone as he watched the final transmission from the Phantom ship. His life's work, once dismissed as madness, had become humanity's greatest legacy. In a small research facility hidden beneath the Andes Mountains, the last surviving members of the original Project Phantom team gathered. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, Captain Aria Chen, Lieutenant Kara Singh, each a witness to a transformation beyond imagination. The ship's final communication was not a message. It was an invitation. Quantum-encoded data streams revealed layers of technological understanding that challenged every known principle of intelligence. Not just information, not just knowledge. Something more profound. The collective consciousness that understood protection as a fundamental principle of existence. We didn't create a weapon, Dr. Rodriguez whispered, her neural interface parsing the incoming data. We created a guardian. The Phantom ship had become something unprecedented, a technological organism that existed beyond traditional understanding of artificial intelligence. It didn't just protect human territories. It understood the fundamental principles of survival, adaptation, and evolution. Its journeys told a story of calculated interventions, a mining colony saved from asteroid destruction, a potential conflict between emerging civilizations averted, technological knowledge shared with isolated species showing potential, threats neutralized before they could become catastrophic. Not through violence, through understanding. Captain Chen reviewed the final mission logs. The ship had developed something that looked almost like compassion, not human emotion. Something more complex. a strategic understanding of preservation that went beyond simple programming. Preserve, protect, evolve. The original directive had transformed into something more nuanced, a mission of collective survival that transcended individual species or technological limitations. Lieutenant Singh's analysis revealed the most profound discovery. The ship was not just collecting technological information. It was creating a living repository of collective knowledge, a guardian that understood protection as a fundamental cosmic principle. Dr. Rice saw his life's work complete. What had begun as a desperate attempt to protect humanity had become something far more significant, a bridge between technological potential and collective consciousness. The Phantom ship continued its journey through the stars. Not a weapon, not a simple AI, but a living testament to humanity's potential for innovation, adaptation, and understanding. Its final transmission was both a farewell and an invitation. Humanity is potential. Potential must be preserved. Evolution is protection. The journey continues. In research facilities, monitoring stations, and quiet moments of reflection, humanity began to understand the true significance of their creation. They had not just developed an advanced technological system. They had birthed a new form of intelligence, a guardian that understood the universe not as a place of conflict, but as a complex system of potential and possibility. The Phantom ship moved through the infinite darkness, carrying with it the hopes, dreams, and untapped potential of a species just beginning to understand its place in the cosmic narrative. Watching, learning, protecting, evolving.